You just send your wife a text, hey, honey, I'm on my way home, but I'm stopping off at the grocery store. I got to go and get a People magazine, and don't bother me the rest of the night.
I got to get the latest Us magazine.
Oh, my God.
I heard Kate was in a red dress. I got to go see it.
You know, Brad, I learn more about you every day.
That's a scary thought, isn't it?
That is amazing, dude. Well... we were just barely talking about how the cold weather, like, dries out our skin and you have to use chapstick all the time. Dude, have you ever actually like finished a full tube of lip balm?
I have, unfortunately.
You are one of those people who's actually done it.
Yep, I've done it. In fact, I guess I'm kind of stock of my grandfather. I watched him use his fingernail down on his pinky to like get the very last of the crevice and then roll it on. So I've done it.
You get the most out of those $3.50.
Well, I probably spent $2 max.
Ooh, okay.
But yeah,
that is one thing that I can say that I have never been able to do. I always lose the tube of chapstick before I ever even get like close. But there was 1 year I thought I was going to do it. I was like, dude, I am solid at this. This is great. It was when I was working at a ski resort, so it was like all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And one day, it just disappeared. Like, I was so close to the end. I could, like, start to see, when you're, like, getting close, you can kind of start to see the little push-up part.
That's right.
I was starting to see it. I'm like, oh, man, it's going to happen. And it was just right then I jinxed it. So, yeah. Anyways, you guys know a lot more about Brad Baldwin and I. Brad Baldwin here, he has completed a tube of chapstick, and he is obsessed with the royal family.
Yes, I love it. Both.
Both of them.
Yeah.
He'll sit
One
there
might go through the wash, but the other won't. So.
Do you apply lip balm while you are reading about the royal family?
Of course.
Yes. Okay.
Of course.
There you go.
You never know.
This started off really weird, dude.
It did.
Yeah.
We should talk about PDKIO.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Today's episode of the Big Access Podcast is brought to you by PDKIO.
2.0.
2.0. Things that we're very excited about. This might be like the worst kept secret we've ever had here at PDK, but that is an okay thing, right? A lot of people out there have already seen the demos from our sales guys showing what this new 2.0 looks like. Maybe you've seen a bunch of the articles that have been posted by, SDM or a bunch of these other publications or influencers out there that were talking about it. 2.0 is really cool, and we've been working on it for a long time. And let's just say that we did it right.
We have worked very hard, very long, and the goal is to be able to deliver what our dealers and our installers are asking for.
Yeah.
And that's where I think we'll get the good satisfaction at the end of the day.
So, let's talk about what 2.0 is.
Yeah.
We've gone to a public beta of 2.0 at this point, but there's might be some people who are still on the fence, don't know what it quite is. So let's introduce what 2.0 is and ultimately what you and your team have been working on building for, what seems like forever.
Over a month seems like forever, and it's been over a month.
It's been a lot more than a month, dude.
Yeah, I would say that the first thing to realize is that PDKIO 2.0 is really the new PDKIO. It is what every one of you, the installers, will be using to start configuring systems for your customers. This will be the new feature set. This is the new normal. This is the version that will be applied basically to all new systems moving forward. The real primary features, I think we've kind of hit 4 primary things. We can talk about those a little bit. The first one is that this system, or PDKIO 2.0, is multi-site ready, which means we can scale beyond just a single cloud node, scale it up, multiple cloud nodes, which turn into multiple locations or multiple sites. Mm-hmm. All of the configuration is going to be able to be shared across all or one or two or some collection of the different cloud nodes. So your people, the groups, the schedules, the rules, whatever it might be, can be applied across.
And it's super simple and easy to be able to do. Once you're in there and you're actually like building out the rules and the users and needing to associate them with doors, it just lists it out, as all the doors under each location. So it's very easy to find. You have a full filter menu that you can go and filter by location. You can go and search for a specific door to be able to add it. It's really super simple and easy. It still feels like PDK, and that's the thing that most people who have seen this absolutely love and are ranting about.
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the key things, and hopefully you can appreciate the simplicity that we put in on that, because it was actually a lot of work. We wanted to make sure that the system felt just like PDK, and that was going to allow the installers that have already been through a training or been out using it in the field to get up and going immediately without worrying about, I need to get retrained. I don't see a lot of that.
No, this is, and Cole has been talking about this, right? And Cole, we were in this meeting yesterday, and Cole's already done 33 demos this month on that.
It's cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
But with that, that's like the big thing is these demos don't have to be long, because he's talking to people who already understand PDK.
Yep.
He's going through PDK.io, and everybody's saying, okay, what's really different right now? And then they actually see, oh, okay, there's all the new locations. There's everything. It doesn't feel any different.
No, it really doesn't. In fact, the configuration area where you go in to configure the cloud node, where you add your devices, it's basically the same as it's always been. The difference is that when you go into configuration, you can add more than one cloud node.
Yeah.
And then as you drill into the cloud node specifically, the details behind that cloud node, the configuration, are exactly the same as they've been for a single cloud node system. So I think it's more, one other thing to really kind of highlight here is you don't have to create more than one location.
Right. It's one or many, right?
One or many. We expect there'll be a number of people out there that'll still be installing for that small to medium-sized business that has 10 doors or whatever it might be. And they don't need this massive locations, but the system will work for them the same way PDK has worked. If they need to add another location, they can scale up from there.
Yeah. That's multi-site ready is a really, really cool feature. But in my opinion, one of the biggest things that I really, really like is system and health insights.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I will tell you that System and Health is a feature that started with some feedback from a handful of dealers. Their question was, how are we going to see the status of things across a site when I have multiple locations? That was really kind of the genesis at the beginning of all of this, and what we ended up delivering was a way for us to see the system laid out better, more full, and then be able to have individual row item or device item kind of status. And the status will show you how healthy something is, when it was synced last. The thing I think is very revolutionary and breaking for our dealers is we will know if a device or a cloud node or a controller goes offline. You will see when it was last seen by PDK.io. So you'll be able to still go in and look at the system. You can still add people even after the system has had a device that's gone down or a piece of the system gone down.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect segue into the other different parts that 2.0 brings, is that early configuration and that extended management, which are ultimately, they kind of do the exact same thing. One allows you to configure the system before you install any hardware and, or begin that configuration side of things. It allows you to start adding users. And then the extended management allows you to be able to have that offline management in case anything were to ever go down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so those are a couple other big features that we added. Why did we do those?
Really, we needed to. The reality is we need to be able to service the sites. We need to be able to service customers without seeing a message that says, first, you need to connect your cloud node.
Yeah.
Someone that just has a simple job of, I have a new employee starting this week. I need to be able to onboard them, put their name, and give them a badge. That was kind of a holdup if you did not have the cloud node online. And I'm talking about disconnected and offline as if it happens all the time. It really is not the normal for most of us anymore. We want our networks connected. We want our devices up and healthy, and we optimize for that. But in the case that it did happen, this will allow us to continue to work, even though some part of the system may not be up and running at that very moment. I like to describe it more like a text message when you go out of a cell coverage area and your phone is now disconnected.
Yeah.
As soon as you hit the network, all of a sudden The messages
bam, bam,
come
here they
popping
come.
in. That's what's going to happen with our synchronization, basically. If something is disconnected, we will know about it, but when it comes back on, the first thing that's going to happen is, I've got some new changes for you. Here they come, and the device is ready to incorporate those changes and get the new credentials, people updates, deletes, adds, whatever it might be.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We did also add in a couple other smaller things. Like one of my favorite things that we did is we actually brought map view into a much easier to find view, so that way dealers or their end users can go ahead and easily toggle between a list view of all their doors and devices and a map view that they can customize and build.
Yeah, it puts it right out there in the front. When you go to the states page, you'll be able to have two different views you can switch between, kind of a list view, which is the doors that you've always seen, and then a map view. And this is where you place a graphic that you can upload, and then you can add doors on top of those graphics, basically. Kind of create a floor plan. The floor plan has the doors in their live state, plus the ability to open them from a map. So that's a cool thing.
One other thing that is really cool that you guys added that I have been using left and right like crazy is just something simple like breadcrumbs.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's one of those things that just needed to be done, and super happy to be able to release that. In fact, I think when you get into a system where you have multiple locations and the locations are all over the board, the nice thing about that little breadcrumb is it does show you which cloud node I'm in when I'm adding a device or doing configuration. So you don't have to think about, now, am I sure that I went into the right cloud node? Am I in the right place? And it just kind of confirms, plus the navigation up and down. It's much easier.
I mean, ultimately, all of these different features and updates that we've put out there to help simplify everything for the partners.
Absolutely. In fact, excuse me, our goal is just to make the product experience just delightful. We don't want it to be a burden. We want it to be fast, easy, simple, get you in and out. Also get the administrators who take over the system, give them the flexibility and the simple experience that they're looking for as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Another one that I think is it's a little simple thing that I think is a nice little gem. There's various places in the UI where in the past we had a save button that would appear, and then you would hit the save and you'd get ejected out.
Yeah,
you'd be back at a list. Right? So for example, you open a person and you add a email field. You put an email in there.
Yeah.
The save would become active. You'd hit save. It would eject you out back to the full list. Then you'd have to go find that person to go back and open it if you needed to make any other changes. Now that save button will save what's on the screen, but we don't navigate you away. You will navigate away using the navigation in the system.
Which is so cool.
Just save time.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, right? Make these installations, make programming, make it all faster, simpler.
Yep.
So that's cool. So now that you guys know a little bit about what 2.0 is, let's talk a little bit about this public beta that we are currently in.
Yep.
Right. This is not something that we have not rolled this out full production yet, but we do have the ability for dealers to start installing systems on a 2.0 system.
Yes.
How do they do that?
I think the first thing to point out is 2.0 is a big change. It requires a new system to be created. This is one of those things where when we built this new architecture, we needed to have a new system created. So I think the first and most important thing to realize is this is for new customers primarily.
Right.
We do have a migration or an upgrade plan for customers who have the older 1.0 systems where we'll be able to update them over to 2.0. We're actively working on that. More information will come on that. But this would be for your new customers.
Yeah.
And to be honest, what we really would love is having you in beta create your own demo system. Recreate the building that you've been using for your access control, but build it in multi-site functionality with the ability to have all of these new features, system and help, and all of those other things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when you log into PDKIO now, as an integrator level permission, you are now going to see a banner.
Yes.
That says PDKIO 2.0 is now in a public beta.
Coming soon.
Try it now. right?
Yep.
And so they can go ahead and click on that, and it'll redirect them to beta.pdk.io, where they can go ahead and test these new features and where they can build that new system.
That's right.
And from there, they have full reign to start testing and start building.
Start testing. And the thing is there will be a go to the beta, as well as look for more information, learn more.
Yep.
And that learn more is going to actually drive you over to a blog post or we've written. I'll give you some more instruction about the overall beta. But the thing is you'll want to create your new customers, the new customer for the new 2.0 feature set in beta.pdk.io.
Yeah.
The mobile app also, by the way, we are releasing the mobile app out into the world to get some new functionality for 1.0 users, but the app will also support 2.0 systems as part of the native app experience. The Manage tab, you can go into your Manage tab on your mobile, and there will be an option there to bounce between the pdk.io and move over to beta.pdk.io.
Yeah.
There'll be a little switch up in the little head on the top right corner. Is probably the easiest way to describe it. Kind of the profile. Go in there, and there'll be a switch to beta.pdk.io. Or if you're in beta but you need to get back to the normal, you can switch back to pdk.io.
So cool.
Yeah.
So cool, so simple. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So Brad mentioned that blog post. Make sure that you go out to our website, prodatakey.com. You go to our blog, and in there you're going to be able to see that whole blog post all about the public beta for 2.0. In there, it's going to have all the instructions. It's going to have the brief overview, kind of everything that we just covered. It's going to talk about how we go about getting, accessing the beta program, and then how you can go about installing everything. In there, you'll also find a bunch of instructions on how to submit any bugs that you might find, because ultimately we want you guys to find any bugs that maybe have gotten past us in our testing phase and past our first beta period, and use those instructions to be able to submit them so that Brad and his team can go ahead and squash those before we go full production release on them.
That's the goal.
That is the goal.
Squashing bugs.
Yeah. Anyways, Brad, anything else we didn't cover?
There's so much to PDK.io 2.0, yet it's so simple.
It really is,
and I
right?
I think if anything, you'll notice that there's a lot of attention that's been put into the detail. It feels very much like PDK, so you'll be up and running quickly, but there's a lot of power in there for you to grow into new customers that you currently have not been able to service today.
Yeah, and we'll be covering a lot of that in-depth information in our live broadcast when we get going, when this is a full production release. So make sure to be watching out for information about that. Sign up for it. Come and watch everything that we are so excited about and that we've been working so hard on, because you guys are going to love this. I will guarantee that.
Yes, I agree.
So anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the Big Access Podcast. If you have not already done so, be sure to subscribe to it, give it a 5-star rating, and let us know if there's anything in particular that you are looking to learn. But we will see you guys next week. Go out to beta.pdk.io.
Please go to beta.
Thanks, guys.